Well, good morning, y'all, and welcome back to the Red Rooster Kitchen here in Northeast Arkansas, Pocahontas, Arkansas. I'm back here in the kitchen today, getting a head start on Thanksgiving dinner. I actually started last night or yesterday making my cornbread, and that is the recipe I'm going to do today. I'm going to make a second batch because I make a big pan of cornbread dressing, and kind of like what I grew up with, only this is my low carb version. And honestly, made this last year and nobody knew the difference. So anyway, it's really good. And so I posted a video, or not a video, I posted just a picture of the first batch that got done yesterday that I was getting started with my cornbread for my dressing. I posted that on Facebook, and I had, I think, 3 or 4 people ask for the recipe. And so as I was making this last year, I didn't do this, and I had to really think about what I did again. So as I was putting my ingredients together, I went to my notes in my phone and just spoke the notes into my phone, so I'd have it written down. And so that's what I did this year, and thankfully I did that, so now I can just print that out and I can just have that recipe to go back to, because I only make dressing, I mean, you can make dressing any time of the year, but I only make it probably a couple times a year. That's Thanksgiving and Christmas. So, and also this recipe I would use, and I put this in the post, that I would use it for making broccoli cheese cornbread, or jalapeno cornbread. We really like that, and I haven't made that in a long time, and so I need to do that soon, probably sometime after Christmas I'll make that. But anyway, looking on Pinterest for, and I did this last year, looking on Pinterest and YouTube for keto cornbread. A lot of times I came up, most recipes people added low carb sweetener, keto sweeteners, and some people like a sweet flavored dressing. That's not what I grew up with. That's not what I'm used to, so I don't like to do that. So anyway, I just came up with my own recipe that I could make in a big batch, so that I wasn't following a recipe and having to double it. I could just have one recipe with the amounts that I wanted. And I actually added in a little bit of Carbquick to this recipe, because normally I used to would use, cornmeal mix, and then I would use bread that I had saved, that I had put in the freezer that had gotten, a little bit old, and I would save it and toast it up or whatever and add it into my dressing. Well, this recipe, if you make it exactly the way I wrote it, it will come out a little bit, it's has a cornbread texture, but almost kind of leans toward a bread texture. So the second batch, I'm going to lower the Carbquick amount and add a little bit more almond flour for that more cornbready texture. Anyway, it'll have the cornbread texture plus the added in dried bread, or toasted bread texture. My mom used to mix bread like that in with hers sometimes if she had it. And so that's why I came up with the recipe that I did. So hope you enjoy this video, and let's get started. Okay, first of all, I'm going to get my oven turned on to 375. I baked the first batch in the other kitchen, but I'm going to bake this batch in this oven. So I'm going to go ahead and get this turned on, and we're going to set it at 375. This oven has baked consistently with, the temperature I set it at. It's worked very well. It's, I don't know if you've seen in one of my old videos, tried to research this stove. It's and from the antique dealer that I got it from, it's somewhere in between 1930 1935. But I love this stove and it works awesome. So I actually baked our turkey in this last year. So anyway, I'm gonna bake this round of cornbread for my dressing back here today. And I was gonna show you, while that's heating up, this is the first batch. I just broke it up after it cooled and put it in this big tub. And it, you know, it's cornbread, and it, like I said, it leans a little bit. It's got a softer texture. It's not as coarse as regular cornbread, but it still has that cornbread texture. So the second batch will add even more of that. Now this makes the recipe as I did it yesterday. It's a very moist cornbread. So today I'm gonna lessen the butter amount, and I think that was all. And I added a little bit more almond flour and less of the Carbquick to make it have more of that cornbread texture. So let's get started. To this bowl, I've got 4.5 cups. I'm using Blue Diamond almond flour for this. This has already been sifted. I don't sift. It says finely sifted. I started using this because I watched a girl who said this was the one that was the finest grain that she had used. So I thought, well, I'm going to try that. I had to order it on Amazon because I can only get certain brands here at our local Walmart. So I've got 4.5 cups of almond flour in this bowl all ready to go. I'm going to move y'all up a little closer. Okay, I hope y'all can see everything okay. I'm probably going to be moving things around a little bit. Before I do anything else though, I'm going to get my pan going in the oven with some bacon grease. Now this is I don't know what size this is, but it's a large Pampered Chef stone baking pan. Normally I would do this in 2 10-inch iron skillets. Or it's enough to make 2 batches in a 10-inch iron skillet. But just so I can get it done, these work great, and I'm going to bake it in this. So I'm going to go ahead, move this out of my way. I'm going to get a couple tablespoons of bacon grease in this. Okay, I've got a big jar of bacon grease. We call this gold here at our house. Every time I fry up some bacon, I make sure the skillet is clean, and because when I take the bacon out, I want it to just be nothing but the bacon grease. I pour it out, and it comes out so pretty. And I just jar it up, and we use this all the time. Oh, let me get this lid off. And I'm just going to put a couple of heaping tablespoons. This is an old serving spoon that was my mother's growing up, and I remember this serving set. She had a full serving set of this. Over the years, you know how that goes. Pieces just start disappearing, forks and spoons. But anyway, I've had this big spoon for years, I guess. But it's something what we get sentimental about and attached to. Anyway, I'm going to put just a couple. It may seem like a lot to y'all, but that's how I like to bake my cornbread. Sorry if that is so loud. Should have been more careful with that. So anyway, I'm going to set that aside over here. Hopefully I won't drop that. And then I'm just going to get this in the oven and get it heating while we're mixing our bread together. Pretty warm, so I'm gonna go ahead and turn it on to bake. This oven has a preheat spot on it. I don't know if you can see that up close. It has a preheat setting right here, and then you turn it on to bake. Now, I don't have a book on this stove, so I haven't been able to read about how long you leave it on there or anything. I just turn it on preheat for a while, and then after it's started heating up, then I turn it on to bake. So anyway, so far it's always worked fine, and everything has come out good that I baked in here. So let's get going. Again, I've got my 4.5 cups of almond flour. To that, I'm going to add 1 cup of Carbquick, and that's just I get this at Walmart. You can order it on Amazon, but thankfully our local Walmart carries this, and I've been able to get this here for the last couple years now, so this has been wonderful. So I'm just going to add that to that. And then I've got a 1.5 tablespoons of, I'm using Bob's Red Mill baking powder. You can use what you want. This has no aluminum in it, so I'm going to use that. So I'm going to put that in my dry ingredients, and we're mixing all our dry ingredients first. Now, I'm going to add a little bit of Himalayan pink salt. I'm one of those people, I eyeball on this stuff, so I'm just going to get out what I think. Throw that in there. You season it to your taste, and I'm going to throw a little bit of pepper in there and do the same. Okay. Some people like to sift their almond flour and their Carbquick. I do not. I just don't. So I just take a whisk and get that all mixed up and incorporated really well together. I've never had any problems of anything coming out clumpy or anything like that. But, you know, some people prefer to do that sift, and that's okay. I know my hair is very different in this video from my past videos. I went back to the 80s this summer, so seemed like it was going to be a little bit easier to manage and handle. So not sure about all that, but in some ways it has been. In some ways it's been something to get used to. So anyway, I think I've got that mixed up real good. That's good. So then we're going to add, I've got 4 eggs, room temperature, and then I've got 8 ounces of water. And I've got that mixed up. And to that, I'm going to go ahead and add 8 ounces of heavy whipping cream. I'm going to mix those together. And then I've also got, and this is optional, this is from, I don't know if you can see that, ooflavors.com. That might be backwards. I've got the low carb variety pack. They have all different kinds. They probably have 500 different flavorings that you can get. Most of this, I think this is a variety pack, and you can get all different sweet variety packs, savory variety packs, all kinds. This has like, I have some cinnamon, I have maple, I have, I think a strawberry. There's several that come in this pack, but also I ordered this pack because I wanted the cornbread flavoring. I don't know if you can see that. This is optional. I've made the cornbread without it. What I can tell you, if you want to use it, it does add a little bit more of that cornbready flavor. But again, with this, it's totally optional. If you're just wanting cornbread, just by itself, just as cornbread, I would suggest ordering some of this and using this. But using it in a recipe like dressing or something else, it's not necessary. But I'm going to use it because I have it. So anyway, it takes me forever. These are almost like child-proof bottles. There, I got it good. I'm going to add 8, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 drops of that to that liquid. And I'm going to go ahead and pour that in to my dry ingredients. There. Okay. And before I start mixing that, then I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to add in my melted butter. Now this isn't melted to a liquid state, but it's melted enough that I can get it incorporated well. So we've got that in there. And then to that, and I'm using the same whisk for all of this, I'm going to add in, I believe this is 1/3 cup of sour cream. Just 1/3 cup of sour cream. And then I'm just going to, see if I can get this up here. Boy, I can feel that oven's getting warm. I'm just going to give this a good mix. And then we'll get it panned up and in the oven. All right, that looks pretty good. I think we've got that mixed up good. So. Okay, we're going to get this out and get our cornbread panned up and get it in the oven. Oven's nice and hot. Bacon grease is all melted. And we'll get this poured in and get it going. I didn't get this hot enough that this would sizzle like I normally do just a pan of cornbread, because I like those real crispy edges on a pan of cornbread. But I'm just getting this in here to get it baked and get it done. Bacon grease really gives it such a good flavor, and we just love that around here. Like I said, we use mostly bacon grease for anything that we're cooking, other than some avocado oil and sometimes some olive oil. Anyway, I'm just gonna get that spread in here good, and I'll bring you up closer and show you really quick. All right. Okay, I just got it spread around in there. It's just like your cornbread consistency as far as the batter. Try not to make that noise. My hands are clean, so I'm just going to wipe all this off into there. Don't want to lose any of that. That was a good tablespoon right there. Okay. It's all panned up. It's ready to go in the oven. We're going to get it in there at 375, and I'm going to bake this for about 30 minutes. I'll check it at the 20-minute mark. I know it won't be done, but I just like to check it. If it's not brown enough at 30 minutes, I may go over to 35 minutes. Just depends on the day sometimes. So let's get this in the oven. All right, we'll be back in about 30 minutes. Pull this out or check it and see where we're at. Okay, y'all, the timer went off for 30 minutes and we're going to check it, and I may let it go a little longer. I don't know. Let's pull this out and see. Oh, it smells so good, y'all. I just love the smell of baked cornbread. I think I'm going to let it get just a little bit browner. So, I mean, it's done. It's done, but I'm gonna go about 5 minutes more up to the 35-minute mark just to get it a little bit browner, because I like my cornbread a little bit, the crusty edges, and not that I'm eating it like that. It is going to be in the dressing, but I just, I like a certain texture when I'm making my dressing too. So going to let that get a little bit more brown, and we'll get it out at the 35-minute mark. So. All right, timer just went off at the 35-minute mark. Oh yeah, and it's brown to the, on the top, just the way I wanted it to come out this time. I'll get that out and show that to you real quick. Oh yeah, that smells so good. I'll go ahead and turn this off here. Down. It baked up quite nice. And when it cools down, I will cut it and I will show you the texture, how it looks on the inside. It smells so good, y'all. Again, you don't have to use the cornbread flavoring, but if you're going to eat it just as cornbread, I recommend it. This is just smells so good. I can't wait. I'm so excited for Thanksgiving. Anyway, we're going to let that cool and then we'll have a taste. All right, yeah, I don't think I can wait. I want to taste this now. So I went and got just a little bit of butter. And I'm just going to cut out a little piece of this corner here. See if I can get this out without burning myself. I really didn't bring the right knife, but I think this will work. See if I can get this out. I'd like to do it without it crumbling. Let me see, get my fork. Got butter on my fork, but that's okay. I'll get my hair out of the way there. Okay. I just got a small piece. But you can see of that, the middle of the cornbread, and I've got the crispy edges that I like on this side, and it just looks so, so good. And so we're gonna have a little bit of a taste. Okay, y'all. Get a little bit of butter on this. Oh, it smells so good. Mmm. Mmm. Oh, this is so good. You've got to try this. I think my dad would like this. Just the right crunchy around the edges of that. And it's going to make such a really good dressing for our Thanksgiving meal this year. I don't know if you can hear my little refrigerator back here humming. I'm right beside it, so it's kind of loud, so I hope it's not too loud in this video. Still works like the day it rolled off the line. It's a 49 Philco, and it has really come in handy having it back here. We just keep extra drinks and things like that in it, and at Thanksgiving and Christmas time, it really helps to have that extra refrigerator space, so I enjoy having that. So anyway, I've got my cornbread done for my Thanksgiving dressing. I've been doing all kinds of prepping, chopping, mixing, getting things ready for the next couple days, cooking and baking, and got some family. Kids are coming, and we're just gonna have a good time together, and I'm looking forward to it. I make such a big pan of dressing because growing up I still have 5 siblings, and so there was 8 of us in the house, and of course, you know, we had other family that would come too and friends, but I learned to make a big huge pan of cornbread, and that's all I know how to make. And quite honestly, if it was just me and Kirk, I would still make the same size dressing, just because that's what I'm used to, so that's what I like. And he and I were talking the other night, and I was telling him that for me, even though our Thanksgiving gatherings are quite a bit smaller from what we were both used to growing up and with our families, you know, as your families grow and get older and have kids and grandkids, everybody branches off and starts having, you know, their own gatherings. So sometimes it can shrink down to just a smaller group of people. And so for me, cooking big, when I cook like this, is something I still do, partly because I can't help it, and partly because for me, that's just part of the memory. I try not to get emotional here, but I always do when I think about family and, you know, Thanksgiving and Christmas pass, you know, we're going into the holidays, and, you know, I have my grandmothers and mother-in-law up on the wall, and I just have a lot of memories of those past holidays and families getting together, and just all the joy that we would have spending time together during those days. So anyway, I hope y'all have a wonderful Thanksgiving this week. We all have so much to be thankful for. Even in these times, there's always, you know, you see that everywhere. There's always something to be thankful for, because there is. So I hope and pray that you and your family have a wonderful Thanksgiving time together, and share your time with your loved ones when you can, because we're not promised another day, and there's many that we don't have anymore that we miss dearly. So, but the memories are still there. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you do, give it a like, give it a share, subscribe to our channel, and I would definitely recommend trying this recipe. Again, you don't have to use the flavoring, but if you're going to eat it just as cornbread, like I said, I would recommend that. Otherwise, just make it without it and go with your dressing or whatever recipe that you choose to use. On another note, I don't count carbs anymore. I don't count my macros, and so I have no clue the carb count on this. I just know it's low because the ingredients that I choose to use, and that's just how I cook anymore. So I'm 3 years going in. Kirk is almost 3 years going in. It's just, I know some people look at this as a diet. For us, it's not a diet. It's just how we eat. It's normal for us. So we just don't count anymore and keep up with that. So probably going forward, any recipes I do, I probably won't be doing that. It is extremely time consuming, and even just making short little videos with all the editing and everything that goes into it, I was truly surprised when I started making videos at how much goes into even just maybe a 15-minute video. It's a lot. So anyway, just know going forward, anything I post and make is going to be low carb. It works for us. We just don't count anymore. So you could calculate it on your own, but just trust that anything I make will definitely be keto or low carb. So again, happy Thanksgiving. Y'all have a wonderful time with your families, and I hope to have another video up soon. Talk to you later. Bye. Well, I got it all out, cubed up so it could cool. So then I could have it all crumbled up in my pan that I will put in the fridge until ready to make my dressing on Thursday. And then, yes, I saved out just a little bit more for myself.